Barnaby Jones. Starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather. With guest star James Olson. Tonight's episode, Catch Me If You Can.
Hey, Barnaby. I didn't know who it was at first. You're not working on Saturday, are you?
Well, 2 days rest always makes me feel like a loafer. I'm on my way up to the office, pick up some papers, fly up to San Francisco, wrap up a case. You don't look like you're exactly on the way to go fishing yourself.
Haven't got the time.
You really taken to this private detective work, haven't you, Eddie?
Well, I won't lie to you, Barnaby, and tell you I don't miss the force, but... well, a man's got to finish what he started. And I'm this close to finishing.
You're not still after that butterfly killer.
Barnaby, I'm breathing right down his neck. It's just like the department psychiatrist said. He wants to get caught.
Eddie.
That's why he keeps writing me those notes, to keep me on the track. Well, this time he went too far. One note too many, Barnaby. I'm going to nail him with it.
You know, it's too bad you're so tied up. I had to turn down a case yesterday, been right up your alley. Say, maybe I can still...
Thanks, Barnaby. Maybe in a week or so, I'll give you a call to go fishing.
Sounds good. Don't forget it.
Right. Yes, operator. I'd like the number for Gene Merrick, M-E-R-R-I-C-K, in West L.A. Brentwood area, I think. I'll be with you in a minute. 4757. Thank you. Come in. It's about a case. I can't take anything new right now. But I know a good man, Barnaby Jones.
I didn't come here to hire a private detective. I came to get one off my back. That last clue I sent you, it worries me. I went too far. This typewriter says that you figured it out.
You're the one.
That's right. And I'm not ready to end the game.
I'll get it, Mary. Oh, thank heavens. Mary's been asking for you.
Barnaby, I'm so glad you're here.
I came down from San Francisco as soon as I got Betty's call.
Thank you. You knew Eddie so well, Barnaby.
We went back a lot of years.
I know what people are saying, that everything was going downhill for him lately. But that's not true, not entirely. Maybe he was depressed about his work, but not his life. You too saw the garden.
It's beautiful as ever.
Eddie worked in the garden Saturday morning, just as he did every Saturday.
I saw Eddie Saturday. He was on the way to his office.
What did he say?
He said he was close to nailing the butterfly killer.
He was, and he had reason to be.
Why do you say that?
It's a feeling I have, Barnaby. You live with a man most of your life, you can sense when things are going right for him. Eddie was on to something. I know it.
You know something? I'm inclined to agree with you. I think this time Eddie was close. Too close.
Do you think the killer found out and murdered him?
It's a possibility.
Barnaby, I have some savings. Find out what really happened. Prove it wasn't suicide.
I intend to. But I'm going to hire myself on this one. Just like with Eddie, it's become a personal matter.
Didn't they find her body in a vacant lot somewhere?
Yes, she'd gone to a costume party the night before dressed as Madame Butterfly.
That's right, I remember. The newspapers picked it up and labeled the murderer the butterfly killer. Did you find anything?
Yes. Some of those taunting notes the killer sent Eddie when he first took charge of the investigation. I will turn myself in, but I want to watch you cops chase me a little longer. I've changed my mind. She deserved to die. This game is becoming a bore. Catch me if you can.
What kind of a man does something like this?
A very dangerous one. Eddie must have started this folder last June when he retired from the force.
I wonder what became of those notes.
When I saw Eddie Saturday, he said that the killer had gone a little too far. He'd send one note too many and Eddie was going to nail him with it. The killer probably took that note along with the rest of them from this folder. Eddie, let's get all of Eddie's papers together. Take them over to the office. Let's see if we can't find something that resembles an appointment. Betty, did you find a pair of scissors or a knife in there?
No. Why?
According to the police report, Eddie hung himself with a cord from this lamp.
So?
What did he cut it with?
For if a dedication to duty is the hallmark of a great man, then Edward Lawrence Wheelock sleeps among giants, at peace with his final reward. For as much as the spirit of our brother departed hath entered in life immortal, we therefore commit his body to its resting place. May he dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen.
He was a fine officer, Mary.
Mary.
Be in touch with you, Mary. Lieutenant. Lieutenant, when your boys went through Eddie's office, did he find a knife or scissors?
No, why?
I'm just trying to make some sense out of something that's pretty senseless.
Barnaby, Mary told me you were looking into Eddie's death. Want some professional advice?
That's the best kind.
Accept the coroner's verdict, death by suicide. Bury this whole tragic episode right here. This is a good place for it.
I wish I could. But I'm afraid to bury the truth. It's got a way of coming back and haunting you.
One hamburger with all the trimmings coming right up. Oh, Barnaby, what you really need is a good night's sleep.
No, what I really need is a crystal ball. I'm trying to make some sense out of this mess.
Nothing?
As far as I can decipher, Eddie had one appointment all last week with Gene Merrick.
Do you know him?
He was Eddie's prime suspect in the slaying until Merrick was completely exonerated. I wonder why he went to see Merrick.
I almost forgot. A special delivery letter came for you while I was downstairs.
Who from?
I don't know. There's no return address. What is it?
Note. Catch me if you can.
I don't understand, Mr. Jones. The newspapers said that Eddie Wheelock's death was a suicide.
They also predicted rain for today, Mr. Merrick.
Well, you realize that Wheelock wasn't one of my favorite human beings.
Yeah, according to the reports, he gave you a pretty rough time during the initial investigation.
Rough, he got it into his head that I was the butterfly killer.
Well, you were the last one known to have seen the girl alive.
Look, I only walked her to the car when she left the party, period.
According to the reports, you were also having an affair with her, Mr. Merrick. One she intended to break off unless you divorced your wife.
Yeah, Wheelock really worked over that little fact, didn't he?
Eddie Wheelock was a good cop. He was working on a tough case. He was also a fair cop. He later exonerated you.
But my wife didn't. Shortly after the news of my relationship with Linda became known, she filed for divorce. And now I only see my kids on weekends.
I'm sorry about that, but you really can't blame Eddie for your indiscretions. He was just after the truth. He wanted to find Linda Barr's killer.
Look, I'm a little busy. What do you want to know?
Eddie came to see you last week. What about?
A note or something he got from the killer? Killer said he was at the company costume party the night Linda was murdered. Wheelock wanted to know if I could give him a list of everyone at the party.
Could you?
Not right away, but my secretary finally gave him one.
Any chance you might have a copy?
A good one. She's very efficient.
I'd like to see it.
Here's the list, Mr. Jones. You may keep it if you wish.
You're very efficient. You even listed the costumes everyone wore.
Well, as best I could.
Eddie Wheelock must have asked for this, too.
Yes, he did. How did you know?
I'm a detective. Thank you very much. Oh, what photographer did you use for the party?
We always use the Kenton Studios.
Kenton Studio. Thank you.
Mr. Stone! These are to be processed right away, or
whatever it is you and your machines do with them.
You make it sound like we're one and the same.
No. It's just that, well, this is where you spend so much of your time. I don't know how you do it. Computers seem so complicated to me.
They puzzle a lot of people. But I like puzzles.
Mr. Jones, you're the second person in 2 weeks that's asked to see the proofs of that costume party.
Was the first one named Eddie Wheelock?
Yeah, I believe it was. Said he was investigating that butterfly case.
Mr. Kenton, why is this picture smaller than the others, like a piece of it's been cut off?
Because it has. Mr. Wheelock asked if he could cut off one of the people in it.
Which one?
Tell you the truth, I didn't even notice. I just handed him the scissors.
Now, these two pictures seem to be the same group.
Same group, slightly different angle.
Except this one, there's a tiger missing. Here, look for yourself.
Mr. Wheelock must have cut the tiger off.
According to this list, there wasn't even a tiger at the party.
Yes, hold on.
Any luck on the costume?
Seems most companies don't keep records past 6 months. I'm talking to Mardi Gras costumes right now. Do you think this really might be the killer?
Good possibility. Uninvited guest. Name wasn't on the party list. The police couldn't check him out. And there must be some reason why Eddie wanted this picture.
Yes. You do? Well, Mr. Jones will be down in a few minutes to talk to you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Forbes. Right. Bye-bye. Mardi Gras has a tiger costume that sounds like the one you're looking for.
I'm back here. Oh, it's you.
You remember me.
I never forget a face or a costume that goes with it. Besides, you're very popular lately.
Popular?
A man came in last week asking about that tiger suit you rented. He had a picture of it and wanted to know your name. I'm not very good at remembering names. So I told him I'd have to check in the back files, and I'd get in touch with him later.
Did you ever get back to him?
I've been calling him for the last few days, but his line's disconnected. And just a few minutes ago, a woman phoned, calling about the same thing. She said a Mr. Jones was going to stop by to see me.
The woman that called, did you give her my name?
I just told her we had a tiger costume like the one she described.
Where's the rental card now?
Right here in the desk. Here it is. Stone, Mr. Randall Stone. What's it all about, anyway?
You wouldn't understand. But you must believe I'm sorry
Sorry about what?
that you've become part of the game.
I don't understand. Please, don't. Please, please, no. No, no, no.
Excuse me, I'm looking for Mrs. Forbes.
Oh, she's probably on her lunch break. Take the elevator to the 4th floor and just call out.
Thank you. Miss Forbes! You hear, Miss Forbes? Miss Forbes?
Who is it?
It's me, Randall.
The rent's on the table.
I didn't come up for that reason, Randall. But as long as I'm here, I'll just take the check, and you can use the envelope for something else. You were up early this morning, Randall. I heard you go out and get the newspaper. Guess you couldn't sleep, huh? I know how that is. Believe me, ever since my husband died, I find it harder and harder to sleep at night. I think it has something to do with being alone so much of the time. Don't you, Randall? I mean, we're both alone so much.
I'm late for work, Stella.
Oh, I see you've already done today's crossword puzzle. It's amazing how fast you do them. I bet it's because you used to know all about those different languages from when you taught at college. Randall, did you read about the murder at the Mardi Gras Costume Company? Oh, poor woman. I bet some creep just probably felt like killing somebody and she was around. And do you know, I bet he's just some normal-looking guy you wouldn't even look at twice. The type that fades into the woodwork. Don't you think so, Randall? Oh.
I told you I'm late for work, Stella.
Yeah. Sure. I'll let you get ready, Randall. See you.
I stopped by Mary's.
How is she?
Oh, as well as can be expected, I guess. The reality of her being alone is just now getting to her, I think. Oh, there wasn't much mail forwarded from Eddie's office except for a few advertisements in this bill from the Apex Typewriter Company.
For one Greek-keyed typewriter?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of strange.
Sure is. Mary know anything about that? Remember seeing any typewriter in Eddie's office besides that standard portable he had?
No.
Neither do I.
Why would Eddie want a typewriter with a Greek keyboard?
It's a good question. Sounds good.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how beat up some of these things get when you let them out. Sometimes I think I'm renting to elephants. Anything I can do for you?
Yes, sir. Did you rent this machine?
Yeah, about a week ago. You returning it?
No, I'm Barnaby Jones, a private investigator, and my problem is that I want to figure out what Mr. Wheelock wanted with a Greek typewriter. You don't handle many of those, do you?
If I had to make my living off Greek typewriters, I'd be on welfare right now.
Did he happen to mention what he wanted with it?
I don't... Oh, yeah. I remember now. He said something about he had to translate a note that was written in Greek.
Translate on a typewriter?
That's exactly what I said. As a matter of fact, I suggested to him that he take the note to somebody who spoke Greek. And he said he already did that. I had no choice except to fall back on the old businessman's creed.
What's that?
Never argue with a customer. I rented him the typewriter.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
The young ones, Barnaby, are not like their mothers who came from the old country.
You gotta give him credit for trying.
You got a point there. All right, you convinced me. Be here at 8 o'clock tonight.
Oh, thank you. Isn't that wonderful?
Sad thing about your friend Eddie Wheelock.
Yes, that's what I came to talk to you about, Achilles. Eddie stopped by to see you recently, didn't he?
Just last week.
Something about a message in Greek?
That's right. He wanted me to translate it for him.
Did you?
Barnaby, when I was a young man in the old country, I was always moving around from place to place, and not always by choice, mind you. But in my travels, I thought I mastered every Greek dialect known to man, until I saw Eddie's note. There was no way on earth for me to translate.
What was the difficulty?
The difficulty, my old friend, was that it didn't make sense. The letters were Greek, all right, but they didn't spell anything. Just so much, how do you say it? Mumbo mumbo?
Mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, mumbo jumbo. And nothing more. Eddie told me to keep trying, and then he left.
You still have the note?
He left me a copy. I've been showing it to some of my friends, but... Barnaby, believe me, mumbo jumbo.
He's got to be here somewhere. Somewhere in this note. Some kind of a code, something. Gotta figure it out.
It'll still be there in the morning. And you'll be a lot fresher, too.
I gotta keep at it, Betty. I'm so close.
Barnaby, didn't you get back to any of these people yet?
Where would I get the time?
Well, this Mr. Jensen called 3 times. He needs your help. He said it was very
I'll
important.
get back to him in the morning. Sorry, Betty.
Don't you see what's happening to you, Barnaby? You're becoming as obsessed with this case as Eddie was. He couldn't think of anything else either.
Yeah, you're right. See if you can get Jensen.
All right. It's his office phone. I'm not sure he's there yet, though. I guess he isn't in his office.
Eddie? Eddie, come here, quick. I think I've got it. What does it say?
I don't know. It's all Greek to me.
Betty Jones. It's a code. The killer's own personal code. You see, this note was typed on a Greek typewriter, but the words are really in English. Now, all the killer did was to substitute a Greek character for an English letter. Look at the 2 keyboards.
Keys are laid out the same.
Now, all we have to do is reverse the procedure and hit the equivalent of the Greek letter on the American machine. Now, here is the first letter. Hi. Just give me a couple of minutes and I'll have this thing translated.
Do you think Eddie broke the code, too?
I'm almost positive he did.
And that's why he was killed. In some ways, it's like opening Pandora's box. What does it say?
I worked with the butterfly.
good reason to believe the killer worked here, Mr. Merrick, and possibly still does.
Well then, Mr. Jones, obviously the police would have checked him out at the time of the murder.
Not necessarily. The police only checked out the people who went to the costume party.
Oh, but that was everyone who worked here, Mr. Jones. It was a company party at the Pavilion Hotel. Everyone was invited. I know for a fact that everyone came.
No one was left off this guest list for any reason?
Not that I can think of.
Did you see anyone at the party dressed in a tiger costume?
Oh, come on, Mr. Jones. It's been almost a year.
And besides, I'm the wrong person to ask about that.
Why?
Because I only stayed at the party for about an hour or so.
Did you get sick?
Not me, Randall Stone.
Who's Randall Stone?
He works in the computer room.
I don't find his name on the guest list.
That's right. I forgot. Randall wasn't invited because he was working the night shift then. I just saw no reason to send him an invitation.
But he got sick the night of the party.
Yes, and I had to come back here to find someone to take his place, which wasn't easy on such short notice.
Where's Randall Stone now?
In the computer room, I imagine. I'll find out for you. Randall Stone.
What do you know about Randall Stone?
Oh, not much, really. He knows his business, but he keeps pretty much to himself. He's just one of those people that nobody seems to pay any attention to.
Oh? Thank you. Well, isn't that a coincidence?
What?
Randall called in sick today, too.
What's his address?
Good morning. Can I help you?
Is Mr. Jones here?
No, I'm sorry he isn't. Would you like to leave your name and number?
Is it all right if I wait?
Well, I'm not sure when he'll be returning.
It's very important.
Certainly. Have a seat.
I wouldn't allow this under normal circumstances.
Normal circumstances?
If Randall hadn't been so rude to me lately. Listen, private detective or no private detective, I don't believe in spying on my tenants. What are you looking for, anyway?
For what may be the final piece of a puzzle.
Oh, well, you've come to the right place. Randall's always solving puzzles.
I have a feeling he's also good at creating puzzles.
What's that? I didn't know Randall had a typewriter. I've never heard him use it. What kind of a typewriter is that?
Read.
Well, I'm sorry. My father-in-law isn't back yet, and I've got a lunch date. I'm going to have to close the office, so if you'll leave your name and number, I'll have him call you when he gets back.
I said I'd wait.
Now, look, I
think we better go in there. We'll wait together. Why don't you say something? Do you know already?
I have an idea.
You know all right. That's why you're so quiet. You're afraid. She was afraid, too. The little butterfly was so afraid she started to cry. Do you understand why I killed her?
I never understand why anyone kills.
Because she was so beautiful, and I wanted her so much. But she was a tease. You know what I mean. She used to make me think that she cared for me. She'd smile at me, come in my office sometimes and talk. And that's why I had to be at that costume party with her. She was always surrounded by her friends. So I waited till she left. And I followed her home. And I thought she was going to be happy to see me. She was angry. And she said terrible things to me. She called me a creep. Started laughing and kept on laughing until there was only one way that I could stop her.
Eddie, I found a missing piece. I know who the butterfly killer is.
It's a shame that information won't do you any good, Mr. Jones.
You must be Randall Stone.
That's right.
Well, if you've decided it's time to kill me the way you killed Eddie Wheelock, you're too late. I've already talked to the police. They have your name. They're out looking for you now.
I don't believe you.
Talked to your landlady, Stella. I used the phone in your apartment. It's all over, Stone. It's just a matter of time.
Time can be to my advantage, especially with her as a hostage. Your gun. Take it out. Put it on the desk. Slowly. Now turn around.
What do you hope to gain by this?
I'm just not ready to spend the rest of my life in jail. Come on.
You hurt her.
Now, you just sit tight, Jones. Don't try to follow us, and don't pick up the phone. Not if you ever want to see her alive again. Cars in the parking lot. Act normal.
You'll never get away with this.
For your sake, you better hope I do. Slide over on the other side. You're going to drive. Go on. Jones, hold it! Or you'll get it with your own gun.
Gun's not loaded, Stone. I don't go around with a loaded gun when I don't think I'm going to use it. Got the shells right here in my pocket. You want to see them?
Barnaby!
Stand right where you are. Put your hands up.
I thought you said it wasn't loaded.
Back where I come from, they'd say you'd been flim-flam.
Barnaby, you're quite a gardener yourself.
You know, when I was a boy, my father used to say there are three things that make a good gardener. Sharp tools, rich soil, and an occasional glass of cold lemonade while you're working. He knew what he was talking about.
Oh, wait till you see what we're having for lunch. Baked ham, sweet potatoes, and fresh corn.
You didn't have to go to all that trouble.
It's no trouble. I like having both of you here.
You're gonna be all right, Mary?
Yes. Even though it doesn't bring Eddie back, it helps knowing the truth about how he died. Thanks, Barnaby. Lunch will be ready soon.
I'll help you with the table.
Yes, sir. He really knew what he was talking about.
Barnaby Jones, starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather, with guest stars Gilbert Rowland, Cal Bellini, Joe Santos. Tonight's episode, rendezvous with terror.
You better change your mind and come to the game with me, Betty. I heard it's gonna be a dandy.
Barnaby, I'd love to, but I can't. I've got all of this paperwork, and when that's finished, I've got to find a birthday present.
Now, that's something that ought to be outlawed. Nobody should be allowed to remind anyone that they're a year older.
Just happy over 21, right?
I'd settle for happy over 39. Don't work too late.
I won't. Enjoy the game.
Do not turn around, Mr. Jones. Do as you're told, and you won't be harmed.
Keep your hands down at your sides at all times.
When we reach the lobby, turn and walk to the front of the building.
Well, I ran smack into a wall with these blinders on.
We'll guide you.
Quickly! I got a couple tickets for the game tonight. Are just gonna go to waste. You fellas wouldn't want to go, would you?
Hardly of any importance.
Bet there are a few local fans who would disagree with you on that. I'm beginning to feel sorry for horses that have to wear blinders.
They're for your protection, Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, forgive me for having caused you any discomfort, but I hope you have been treated with respect.
But I've seen a condemned man being given the red carpet treatment, too.
I understand. I will explain to you very shortly. Take him to the office. Please leave us alone. Mr. Jones, you were recommended to me by someone I have complete faith in. I would like to hire your services.
Well, that's my business, dealing in services, but I'd rather be here under my own free will and without these blinders.
Please. You would recognize me instantly. My anonymity must be maintained. The lives of certain people depend on that. I assure you, Mr. Jones, that the service you will perform for me is most honorable.
Ordinarily, under these conditions, I would give you a very short answer, adding up to no. But let's just say that you've got me sufficiently intrigued to listen.
I want you to locate somebody for me. I want you to find a man for me.
I have considerable work to do at the house. I'll take some of the men with me.
I will be no more than a few minutes with Mr. Jones. I prefer you remain and see him safely back to his office. The man's name is Reves. John Reves. I'm sure he's around the Los Angeles area. I will contact you in a few days to get your report.
Well, now, hold on. As a matter of policy, I never start a search for anyone unless I know why they're wanted and who wants them.
I understand. But I mean no harm to this young man. All I can tell you is that he is my son. And if it became known that I searched for my son, his life would be in jeopardy. I don't even want him to know anything about it. Take him out of here. How could they have known that I would be here tonight?
Javier has good intelligence?
Perhaps. Or there's an informer amongst us.
I cannot believe that. Besides, I warned you coming here would be risky.
You think there is no point in arranging talks with this, Javier?
Nothing but blood will satisfy Javier. He's a fanatic to the core.
I see. Let us return to the house.
Your weapon minus the bullets. The door is open, Mr. Jones. Step out. Wait for us to leave before taking off your glasses.
You mean I'm gonna get to keep these as a memento?
It's a very serious business with us, Mr. Jones.
I won't dispute that. Kidnapping, shooting, possibly murder, that's all serious business.
Some bad luck. Carlos got hurt.
All right. Whose idea was this?
De Vargas just had more men.
I didn't ask you how many men he had. I want to know who gave the orders to make this attempt on De Vargas.
I did, Javier. The opportunity presented itself.
Blew it. You also blew any last chance to have him listen to reason.
We had information that says reason is the furthest thing from his mind. Come inside, we'll discuss it.
How bad is he?
The bullet is out. I don't expect any complications.
Who leads here, Balazar?
There was no time to confer with you. We got word that Zavaga would be at Silver's winery tonight meeting with a man.
But why the haste? Why use my men like common thugs?
Because time now is all important. Zavaga has put a price on your head, hired a private detective to locate your whereabouts. He wants you dead. He needs you dead. You don't have to guess any longer why he's in this country, in this particular city. Do you know what your head is worth? $100,000.
How did you hear this?
I have a well-placed friend that keeps me accurately informed. Javier, we have planned to fight this man in the hills of our country, killing only when necessary in the fields of battle. Well, the battle is here now, and Zavaga has chosen the time and place. We have no alternative but to meet him head on.
How did he learn we have headquarters here?
The fact remains he did. And just as we need the name of Zavaga obliterated from our country's history, so he needs your name only as a faint memory, not as a battle cry. Javier, there are thousands of men ready to follow you.
This detective.
His name is Barnaby Jones.
And what would be your advice regarding him?
Javier, leave it in my hands. If this man is anything more than a nuisance, we will dispose of him.
Drive a little faster, Betty. But not over the speed limit. They were very careful about that.
It's 1 minute to 12.
If we get within 6 blocks of the place, we ought to hear the chimes.
Barnaby, why don't you leave it up to this man to contact you? And if he doesn't, then you can just drop the case.
Because thinking back, I really did accept this job in principle. At least I didn't tell him no. You know, Betty, even though I couldn't see him, it was very strange. I felt comfortable with him. As if he was an honest man in deep trouble. Listen.
It's just ahead. It's the university campus.
Within 4, 5 minutes, closer to 5, left turn should be a one-way street. From here to the railroad tracks, no turns were made. Once across, sharp left. We've got to be within a mile of that plant. Motel Row is to the south. East and west streets are too narrow. Try a right turn up ahead. Cross any cobblestones, we start circling. Pull over there, Betty.
Tienes que trabajar extra esta noche.
Good morning.
Good morning. May I help you?
Well, yes, maybe you could, Mr.
Garcia.
Mr. Garcia. I'm Barnaby Jones, a private investigator. I'd like to ask the manager a few questions.
I am the manager.
Oh. Well, what time do you close in the evening?
Generally at 5 o'clock.
And last night?
At that time. May I ask the purpose of your questions?
Well, there was some sort of a disturbance reported in this area last night. Say, that claret smells good. You wouldn't have a bottle of Cabernet 36 or Zinfandel lying around, would you?
I'm afraid not. Mr. Jones.
Yes, they are getting scared. Was this disturbance reported to you?
No, the winery was locked. No, we found nothing disturbed this morning when we opened.
You have a night watchman?
Not always. Mr. Jones, I am very busy.
Yes, so am I.
Mr. Jones, we prefer not to have people walking while the plant is operating.
Yeah, I can understand that. Is that a bullet hole?
Well, it's an old building. Who knows what may have taken place here years ago.
True. I think I'll go out that way. Thanks for your time.
You fool!
He was inside before I knew it.
You had to give him a tour of the place?
I couldn't help it. He asked about a disturbance here last night. I think he knows he was brought here.
Which is obvious.
He can't prove anything.
He knows enough. And that's too much.
Barnaby, please.
I'll be all right. See you at night. Okay, driver.
This is a private road, sir.
I know it's a private road, son. Now, you just better get on that phone in there and call whoever's in charge and tell them unless they want it to become a very unprivate road with the police, they better talk to me right away. My name's Barnaby Jones.
Have a duplicate forwarded to the Paris embassy for their information.
That man you hired, Jones, he appeared at the plant this morning.
It seems he deserves his glowing references as a detective. Did you talk to him?
Gotta see, I did.
Yeah.
You should have called his office and told him to keep the money, that his services were no longer needed.
Have Mr. Jones escorted up here, please.
Varg.
Mr. Jones, your instructions were to find John Revis, that I would contact you.
Yes, I know, Mr. Varga. But just as you had my references checked before you hired me, it's my practice to check the references of all my clients.
I owe you an apology. But, Mr. Jones, it was imperative to me that my visit to this country not be common knowledge. Although, last night that little episode proved that knowledge is more common than I desired. I have two reasons for being in this country. One of them is to learn the whereabouts of my son, John Revis, as I told you. The other is medical. That knowledge that my health is not what it should be could create unrest in my country. I spent 20 years with some very brave men to topple one of the most cruel dictatorships ever to appear in South America. Any signs of instability in my leadership may well signal the return to conflict.
Simple little phone call to me could have set up a meeting without all the folderol.
Again, I ask your forgiveness. But so much was at stake, and so much is at stake, that I remained incognito.
The shooting last night.
A revolutionary faction led by a man named Javier. He obviously knows that I'm here in this country, but what he does not know is that I search for my son. That he must never learn.
John Revis.
Yes. Mr. Jones, I'm going to be very frank with you. I have a terminal illness. I have about a year or two to live at the most. Mr. Jones, my country has stability because the name of the Varga is at its head. If the name is carried on, there is a very good chance that stability will carry on. Wine?
No, thank you. Why isn't your son's name DeVarga?
Revis was the name taken by his mother when we separated 20 years ago.
20 years?
Yes. She refused to go with me when I returned to my country to lead the revolution. In changing her name, her moving away, she prevented my son from ever learning who his father was. The fact that he is a DeVarga.
I see.
Mr. Jones, I could not personally conduct a search for my son without calling attention to the fact that I have a wife and a son in this country. Their lives would be in jeopardy. This was taken over 20 years ago. I recently heard that she was seen here in Los Angeles. Such a beautiful woman. Beautiful in every way. You scaring your search, Mr. Jones.
Mrs. Revis. I'm Barnaby Jones. Could I speak to you a moment?
What about?
Juan DeVarga. He feels it's most urgent. He wants to see his son. He hired me to find him.
After 20 years? Mr. Jones, I don't find that request at all touching.
I appreciate your feelings. Your husband feels those years also. But he dedicated that time to the people of his country. Mrs. Revis, your son is 25 years old. Shouldn't he be the one to decide whether he sees his father?
After 20 years? Why? Why would he? There could be only one reason. The old lion is dying, isn't he?
He learned he has a year, maybe 2 at best.
He had such strength. Yes, perhaps you are right. The boy should make his own decision.
Should I talk to him?
I don't know where he is at the present time. He travels a great deal. He's been very restless since he graduated law school. He telephones, sometimes he visits.
Do you know of any of his close friends who might know where he is?
Well, he seldom talks to me about... He once brought a girl here to dinner, Angela.
In talking to her, she told me that she worked at the Bellew fabric shop. It's on the boulevard south of here.
Is there anything you'd like me to tell your husband?
Just that I wish him well.
You must be Angela. You certainly answered the description.
Why, thank you. What can I do for you?
My name is Barnaby Jones. I'm a private investigator, estates, insurance work. Seems there's a John Revis who is having a sort of an inheritance problem. I know this all sounds very vague, but I'd like to talk to him.
What have I got to do with this John Revis?
His mother referred me to you, said you might be able to help me find him. I understand he moves around a lot.
Yes, he does.
Any idea at all of where he is?
Well, I might be able to find him in one place. If you wait, I can phone.
Sure.
Darling, there's a private investigator named Jones here, asking for John Revis. You mean right now? All right, I'll get him there. He's at a friend's. He asked if we could join him for lunch.
Fine. That is, if the lunch is on me.
That's very kind of you. But you'll probably have a fight on your hands if I know John. There's the dining room off the back entrance.
In that door.
What do we do? Send out for the lunches?
You'll find that I'm not a man to joke with, Mr. Jones.
Doesn't that prove a disadvantage in everyday living?
You will tell me here and now why the Vaga hired you.
Mr. Jones.
Let me handle this. You need not be involved, Javier.
Javier?
You search for a man named John Revis. Why?
What business is that of yours?
I'm John Revis.
You're John Revis? And you're also a Javier? One and the same?
That's right. You're surprised?
Mind-boggling. What do you say to a meeting with Varga? So you could get together and talk out your differences.
The Varga wanted you to locate me so we could talk.
It's about what it amounts to.
All right. Then let him come here.
Don't think it'd be practical. What about some neutral place, the San Felipe Mission? I could set it up so that you and De Varga could have a nice quiet meeting there.
Were you about to say something else?
How's that suit you? Face-to-face meeting at the mission.
I can't believe he's sincere.
Yes? I can set it up in an hour.
Return his weapon.
What is this?
Return it.
1 hour?
1 hour.
Explain what you are doing.
Meeting with the Varga of the San Felipe mission.
For what purposes?
To talk.
I forbid any such meeting.
You forbid?
I will accept no compromises.
Well, maybe the Varga has become afraid. Maybe he sees it inevitable. He must step down.
The man is a compulsive liar. He does not know what the truth is.
Well, then, of course, I'll know there can't be any compromises.
Yes, yes, and learning that.
Why? Why would he want to talk?
It must be some kind of a trap. He does not know what you look like, neither does his men. Once they learn that, your life is forfeited.
Is the man so devious, so crude?
He's corrupted by power. It's simple as that. Not only will your life be at stake, but all those that follow you. You'll be alone with him. In one precious moment, you can determine the fate of our whole country.
They'd search me for a weapon before the meeting.
Once we learn where in the mission the meeting is at, we'll have a gun hidden there. Don't even listen to him.
No. I will hear him out. That much I promised.
I want you to listen very carefully.
And if Javier doesn't act, all right, then we must go beyond that. Then both of them must go.
Mr. Jones?
I had something to tell you. I thought I'd better do it in person.
Alonso?
I've set up a meeting between you and Javier at the San Felipe mission.
Mr. Jones, you were hired to find my son, John Revis, not to get yourself involved in political affairs.
I found John Revis. Your son is also known as Javier. I didn't tell him anything excepting that Juan de Varga wanted to talk to him. Not even your wife knew of his activities.
Incredible. Unbelievable. Tell me, Mr. Jones, what kind of a man is he? Is my son an intelligent man or just a hothead fanatic?
Well, I don't like to make a judgment after only a few minutes with a man.
That would be up to me to find out. But as Juan de Varga talking to Javier, not as a father talking to a son.
It makes me kind of nervous. The man you'll be talking to sees your death as the best thing that could happen. Wouldn't it be safer to tell him he's your son right off?
No, Mr. Jones. I will have to find out what kind of a man he really is. That is very important to me. Parras, you wait here with Garcia.
Javier has been searched. He's not armed. Waits for you in the courtyard beyond.
Is there another door to here? There's a gate out in the rear courtyard, but it's bolted from the inside. Mr. Balazar anywhere about?
No, sir.
So, you are Javier. I must say, you do not look like much.
But you do. Which proves, doesn't it, appearances are deceiving.
I have heard that you are a lawyer. Lawyers deal in logic, do they not?
Don't waste my time with riddles, huh?
Oh, I forgot. Your time is very precious. 24 hours a day devoted to intrigue.
You talk of intrigue. How many of my men do you have rotting in your prisons?
As many as deserve it. In civilized countries, terrorizing people is not permitted.
Making speeches in a plaza is terrorizing. Huh?
Making speeches to draw the crowds so that the bombs could be more effective? Yes.
That was not our doing.
Perhaps you are not aware of all the tactics your men are using.
The bombs could have been planted by your orders to discredit us.
Javier, you are beginning to bore me.
Is this your idea of a talk? Insults?
Tell me, John.
Don't call me by my familiar name.
Sorry. It came out naturally. Javier, how would you handle it? Let us assume that I was so feeble-minded as to appoint you to a ministry post and tell our people they should support you should I leave office. How would you handle the affairs of state?
Everything you've neglected. A network of roads, of factories. The number of schools should be doubled.
Where's all the money for this? What magic wand would you use?
Force the people to contribute their labor. Force every man and every woman to work.
Force the people against their will?
These people are peasants, 50 years behind the times. What they need are orders, not requests.
Javier, I am their leader. I am their servant. I suggest, then I obey their wishes. They are a little slower, but that is their way. That is the democratic process. Yes, they are only peasants, and so was I once. But even a peasant must feel that he is a man of importance, that he has a voice in his own destiny. Freedom cannot be qualified. It cannot be spooned out. or rationed. Like you would ration any. The fool's answer to logic.
An answer to total deception.
You would be a leader, Javier, and not know when a man lies? Have you not learned how to read the truth in a man's face? Is there no doubt in your mind that I am anything else but the man you see and listen to? I see a slight doubt there. A doubt from the very minute we stood here face to face. Do you agree? Javier, there's something important I want to say to you. Come with me to the car.
Why would you want to protect me?
Is it strange for a man to protect his own flesh and blood? You have changed so little.
And you have changed much.
Not here.
John, I think I'll say goodbye here. They're having an important talk.
Yes, but she won't come with us. The hurt is too deep. Mr. Jones, it was a great pleasure meeting you.
Well, I don't know if I can call it a pleasure, but it was an experience. You know, you seem to make a lot of snap judgments, and your batting average is not too high.
What do you mean?
You've underestimated your father again.